What's going on, guys? This is Danny from Slow Restoration, and we're doing a few more things to LS Extreme, some detail work. We got a brand new water pump here. We have it taped up, so we're going to go ahead and spray it down. There's a piece of dirt. We're going to go ahead and spray it down with that stainless paint just to keep this looking new for a long time. Got some more detail stuff done. We got our kicker shot, excuse me, mounted, or actually painted, mounted. And we had an extra Bilstein sticker we stuck on it. One on there and one on this side, just to kind of make it look a little more factory. And we were also able to detail the emergency brake stuff and get it all mounted back up on there. All that looks good now. It's all in place. Got some stuff tightened up. We went ahead and went around, trimmed off the excess of our hangers for our exhaust system there and there. Finished welding up the rest of the joints. This exhaust system's nice and strong so far. It's not terrible. It's got a tiny bit of bounce here, and there is a little bit of distance between the header collector and back here to the first hanger. So we had a couple more of these stout hangers, so I actually took and drilled and tapped a hole here and a hole there. And we're going to add two more hangers here. We'll trim them off to length and weld these on. That'll make it super strong and eliminate any issues with bounce or flex, or you never really want your exhaust system hanging totally off your headers, especially for that long of a distance. So we'll get these welded on and trimmed up, welded on, and that should do it for the exhaust system. Two more hangers on there. This is really nice and stout now. Normally you wouldn't put it that tight, that close to the motor, but if you remember they're not solid motor mounts, but they're poly mounts, and they're very stiff. And we also have a polyurethane transmission mount, so this stuff really does not move very much at all. There's a tiny bit of cushion there, but it's not like the factory rubber mount, so this won't move around very much. It's a nice tight system now. Not going to have problems with it shaking around or moving around, doing anything we don't want it to. I did go ahead and start back on the fuel system on LS Extreme. I just decided to ditch these factory lines, eliminate some of they had connections here, connections there, and then connections down here, and I would have had to tie in with more connections, so I just eliminated all of that. I did keep with the Corvette C5 fuel filter. It actually slid right into the factory location. I made new Dorman lines with the Teflon fuel line. So I made lines from there. They run back all the way to the fuel pump. So that's a nice, clean, neat, new. There's a connection at either end, and that's it. So that worked good. The only thing we have to do now is tie in from this side of the filter to the motor, and I'm not quite sure I want to do that yet. I think I want to get the cab on and then route the best way possible to avoid the exhaust as much as possible, but still have good clearance between the cab and motor, transmission, and headers. So we're not going to start the motor until we get the cab on anyway. So I believe we're just going to hold off on that front part for right now. Other than that, the fuel system should be good. Right now we actually did leave. I had planned on swapping that fuel pump out. Right now it is the stock 4.3 fuel pump. Everyone says it will work. We're just running a 5.3 with a small cam and header, so it's nothing too crazy. But if we have fueling issues, it's not a big deal to just swap that out. There's a company that makes a drop-in fuel pump with a bigger fuel pump already in it. So we also, while we were at it, we went and got too much stuff in my hands. What I got a new clutch master cylinder, cleaned up our old line, and we actually used the DEI titanium protective sleeve. Get rid of that. And we went ahead and wrapped the portion that's going to go around the exhaust. Now down here, there's no way around it. We have to go into there. So it's going to have to come across the header. I'll try and tie it up to the cab as much as possible, but it's definitely going to still be close. The factory, you can't see it now, but it did have braided stainless steel, and now it has the titanium sleeve heat shield over it. So I think we might go ahead and plug that in, slip that in, and we'll have to wait until the cab gets mounted. This obviously plugs into the cab and spins, locks in, but we should have plenty of enough sleeve to go across and around, protect us from the heat from that header. Something else I've been dying to get into is wraps, and this is going to be actually my first ever attempt on wrapping anything. So when we went to SEMA this past year, and when we were there, we got some samples of wraps. This is kind of it's kind of carbon fiber, exposed carbon sample piece, and it's just about big enough to wrap this pulley. Obviously, we don't want to wrap where the belt rides, but we'll stay down on this flat surface. It could look cool, so we're gonna give it a shot, see how it works. If it doesn't work, we'll just pull it off. So what I did is I folded it, obviously, folded it into fours, cut the center out so it fits over this hub, and that pretty much centered me, because the width is going to be really close to covering. It actually doesn't quite make it to the edge, so we'll have to trim it, but it gets real close. And this is just practice, so we'll see how it turns out. So I'm gonna go for it and just see what happens. There we have it. Definitely not perfect, and I'm sure anyone that actually knows how to wrap would say my very first mistake would be trying to wrap something with a piece that's not quite big enough. Like, it's a compound angle, of course it goes that way and rolls that way. So I knew it was going to be a little difficult anyway, but the spots where I had somewhere to pull, much easier than the spots I had nothing. As you can see there, it's actually a little short, so it really had nothing. I just had to kind of use my thumb and roll that. My plan now is to take a razor blade and just pick a spot about there and trim, just spin this and trim it off. If it, like I said, if it doesn't come out, if I can't make that work and make it look good, I'll just scrap it and pull this piece off. I actually have another piece of this same stuff, another sample piece. So let's see if I can trim it off and make it look like something. And it's not completely horrible. That carbon fiber actually, when it spins, has a weird effect. The light catches it and it flips. As you can see, that's not, the wrap job, that's just the wrap. Like I said, it's not perfect. If I had a bigger piece, I know I could have got it way better and then trimmed it right on that outer edge. Would have been a much easier line to follow. But it is what it is. It's the very first piece. I'm definitely I kind of liked the way, I definitely want to get into it. So I'm going to get some bigger pieces and we'll give it a shot. Who knows? Might be something I can do. We got our clutch line all completely hooked up. I actually put fluid in, and we'll let that sit. Sometimes these can be a pain to bleed, but just sitting, a lot of times the air will bleed out by themselves. We'll go back on it a couple of times, and it should be ready by the time the cab's on. It should have a good clutch pedal already. We also went ahead and cleaned up our valve covers, and I did go ahead and spray them the stainless color. I was seriously considering doing them Chevy orange, but it might be hard to see excuse me, on film, but they're not incredibly nice. I cleaned them up pretty good, but they are cast, and I just felt like this hid more of those casting flaws. So, and it's a clean look. I think it looks good. You might be able to see a little bit more on this one. one more detail done. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for today. Thanks for stopping by. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Have a good day.